What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to continue our discussion on men who are just giving up on relationships. They are giving up on women. They are walking away. They are just staying away. They are running away. They're doing anything they can to make sure that these women know that they are not going to be tolerating the modern women that are kind of throwing themselves out there on social media trying to get the attention of these men. These men are completely just ignoring them. But there's also a small subset of men who are engaging with these women. They are going to be dating these women. They're going to be spending time with these women. However, what they are not going to do is they are not going to be marrying these women. Now, I've talked about on my channel how men will live with women and, cohabitate. I have a personal belief that cohabitation with a woman is probably the most insane thing you can do, is living with a woman. It is very dangerous for you because in the United States, certain states, they are what's called common law marriages, where if you live with a woman for a certain amount of time, it doesn't matter if you are married by a judge, a priest, if you have paperwork, it doesn't matter. If you have lived with this woman long enough, she can actually claim common law marriage and get a divorce from you whenever she wants, and she can still take half your stuff, and you will still be required by law to give that. It's the same exact thing as if you had gotten married officially with the paperwork and everything like that. Common law marriage is exactly the same thing. This is a law in a lot of states. Now, I'm not sure what states. It's not a law. I know the state that I live in, common law marriage is a thing. If you live with a woman for longer than 2 years, okay, and y'all are in a relationship, if there is no roommate status initiated in the lease or in the housing agreement, you are considered common law spouses with each other. This is what's legal in my state. So, for me, if I were to live with a woman for 2 years and we were in a relationship and we ended up breaking it off, she could, get me for alimony. She could get half my stuff. She could get a big payout at the end. Now, I'm not like rich or anything. I don't have a lot of money, but that is even more important because it's the men that don't have a whole lot that they end up getting put through the ringer and they are left with absolutely nothing. If you're a well-off man and you have a lot of cash saved up, you have a lot of assets, it still sucks. Like, it's like the worst thing to happen to a man to get half your stuff taken away. But it's even more crucial for these men that maybe do not have a lot. If you are lower, like on the average salary, if you're just an average guy, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your assets. You have to protect your finances. And depending on what state you live in, like I said, in my state, I absolutely refuse living with a woman, cohabitating with a woman. It is one of the biggest risks out there today. And men they're cluing in on this. They are definitely cluing in on this. Marriages has dropped significantly. I don't know the exact percentage rate, but marriages have took a dive. Okay, men are not getting married. Men are not asking for marriage. It has gotten so bad that you even have some women asking these men for marriages, which is wild to me. But we have a few clips that are going to be going over this, and we're going to go ahead and just get into it. So if you could like the video, go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers, so if you could hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. I am still up to this point. I am still making daily videos. I'm not sure how long I'll still be able to do this, but as of right now, I'm still making daily videos every day. So hit the bell and you will get the notifications for the videos. And hey, how's it going? My name's Rat Boy. Let's get into it.
If he's telling you that he's not sure he wants to get married, he wants to see how it goes, he wants to move in with you, it's better if we don't get married because we'll both keep trying harder. It's not the type of person you want to be with. And I'll tell you why. It's very simple. You don't want to be with a fair weather friend. You want to be with someone who commits and goes for it, because life is going to give you ups and downs and turns and twists, let me tell you. You cannot be with a partner on the preface that it's always going to be rosy and gay and happy. You cannot do that. The whole idea of commitment and marriage works because you are there through thick and thin. And if you are with him and he's with you, as long as you're the best, brightest version of yourself, and he's always on the lookout for a better version, because essentially that's what he's saying. You're good enough for now, but if something better comes along, I'm going to hop ship like the rat that I am, then that's not the person for you. Don't convince these people to try and marry you. Don't try and talk them around. Just know that they're not the type of person you want to go through life with. You don't want a half-assed person. You want someone who...
What the... Oh shit.
This is a very interesting point of view here, and I wanted to kind of spotlight this with the first clip. And we're going to go over a few things she said. The very first thing she said is, if a guy doesn't want to marry you, it means that he is looking for something better. I would have to disagree. I think a lot of guys get in relationships and they see marriage as a big risk, even if they want to be with this woman long term, because marriages used to be a commitment. They are not a commitment anymore. The cope is that women think men don't get married because at any moment these men will dump the women and find a better woman and this and that. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In reality, men are not getting married because of women's behaviors. Women are more likely to cheat. Women are more likely to initiate divorce. Women are more likely to step out on a marriage by using social media, by using dating apps, by using the guy best friends. There's so many avenues these women use to step out, and men really don't have any of this. So the average man does not have access to social media like the top tier men do. They don't have access to a lot of women friends like some of the top 10% of men do. So these men don't have options. These men have absolutely no options, but these men are still refusing to get married because the risks far outweigh the benefits when it comes to marriage. And a lot of women will say, well, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? The men don't care about the milk. The men have stopped caring about the milk for a long, long time, because now the cow can sue the farmer and take the farm. And then what's the farmer going to do? Because that's the situation we're in right now, especially with marriage laws and divorce laws in the United States. Some of these states have some of the craziest marriage and divorce laws. I want to say there's a few states that don't have child support and alimony. I think the alimony laws have changed in certain states like Florida, but for the most part, when a woman initiates divorce, no matter what that reason is, a lot of the times it's because the husband caught the woman cheating is why the woman divorces. These women still are able to take 50%, half of all the man's shit. Like, just boom, it's gone. And then the men are sitting there with their dick in their hand and they really don't know like what, why, like why. And then a lot of these men, a large majority of these men have been married. They've been through the divorce. They've seen what happens and they're checking out. They're absolutely checking out. They're not going to get married. They will find it a lot easier and a lot better for them just to find a woman who is a little bit more agreeable to never getting married than to marry a woman who is so set on marriage. Like that's definitely a red flag. If she is more concerned about getting a ring, getting that paperwork signed, getting the contract signed, getting the marriage, getting the wedding, if she's more concerned about that and about putting your relationship on a timeline, oh, we've been together 2 years, still no ring. Oh, we've been together 3 years, still no ring. Then you know exactly where her priorities lie, and you need to let that woman go. Let her go find whatever she's looking for, because it's only going to end up in a lot of drama, a lot of toxicity for you, because they will take out their frustrations on the man that they're with because they're not getting what they want. You've seen these women yell, scream, fight. They will make accusations. They will accuse you of being an attacker, being the other word that I can't say. And this is another reason why I absolutely agree with no cohabitations with women, especially if you're in a relationship. I know you kind of want to keep an eye on her or whatever. It's not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it. You are putting your livelihood, you're putting your assets, you're putting your financial health at risk, because you are potentially going to let someone who could ruin your life live with you. And that's not a risk I'm willing to take. And that is something that I will tell men every single day. Do not live with a woman. It is one of the biggest risks.
If a man tells you that he does not want to get married, believe him. Take it as a piece of information he shared with you that is true, and act from that space. Don't in your head already try to figure out a plan B of how you're gonna get him, force him, convince him to get married.
And this is a very interesting point of view as well. I can tell you it does not matter if you and your girlfriend have had that discussion beforehand about expectations and the relationship. I'm not interested in marriage. I'm not interested in kids. I am not interested in living together. If you're okay with that, then this relationship can continue. If you're not okay with that, then we need to go ahead and cut the cord right now. We need to pull the plug. and we need to kill the relationship. Well, these women obviously still agree. They want to be in a relationship. But then as time goes on, they start talking to their friends, they start looking online, they start getting brainwashed by all of these random people, because women are not mentally strong. They can be convinced and they can be talked into pretty much anything. It's kind of wild if you just go down that rabbit hole, but they will start attacking you, asking you, why aren't they married? Why haven't you asked the question? Am I not good enough? Do you not see me as a wife? It has absolutely nothing to do with any of that. It's over. If you can't get past this one thing, then I think we already know how this relationship's going to end. It's going to end with, it's not going to end with a compromise, because just like with kids, marriage isn't a compromise. It's either a yes or a no. Okay. There's no compromises when it comes to marriage, and there's no compromises when it comes to children. It's either a yes or it's a no. So if she is unwilling to keep her word, if she's unwilling to keep the agreed terms in that relationship and respect those boundaries, then obviously you have to send her on her way. You have to discard her. You have to send her back to the streets. That is the only way to deal with women like this, because they will become resentful. They will become violent. They will take out all their frustrations on the man they're with. And it is a very unhealthy situation. Take it from me. I have experienced it. It is some of the worst types of women you can get involved with.
Check this one out and tell me what y'all think.
If my boyfriend asks me to marry him, I'm going to say no.
Why?
Why am I going to say no? Because we started dating 5 years ago, and then a month after we started dating, his friend started dating his girlfriend. And they had a kid after 2 years of being together. We had our daughter after 4 years of being together. His friend pays all the bills in their home. We pay 50-50. His friend got engaged last year, and we haven't gotten engaged. His friend got married this past weekend.
Stop comparing. You don't know what the hell going on in those people's house.
And the crazy thing is that when we started talking, he said, if we last a year, I'd like to get married and try for a baby. So a year came by, nothing. Then he said, well, maybe after 3 years, let's look at it like a lease payment. You get 3 years. 3 years came by, nothing. They said maybe 5. 5 is a big deal. Bet. 5 came, nothing.
Sounds like he knew exactly what to say to keep you around.
So he goes to his friend's wedding this weekend, and I'm hoping that it would be a motivator. But to be honest, at this point, I don't even care. Like, I really don't care.
Yes, you do. And instead of throwing hits, you should have had an adult conversation with him and stood on business. You see my shirt? A woman who knows her worth. Know your worth, baby girl.
So he says, well, I made you the mother of my first and only child, and that should be good enough, because that's a big deal. That's forever. And yeah, it's a big deal. That's forever. But like, damn, I'm good enough to be a big mom, but I'm not good enough to be a wife.
Girl, don't let that fool you. It was just too warm in that garage, and he didn't know how to put that car in reverse. But shit happens. I get it. But that don't mean you gotta settle.
If it took him so long and he had so many doubts, he thinks it's all under his control, his power. Like, when I feel like it, that's when I'm gonna propose and she's gonna say yes. No. I have some say too. And I can say no. Just because you propose to me, I'm gonna say yes. Like, for me to say yes, he's gonna have to pull off a really, really, really nice proposal.
If you gonna say no, why are you still there? At this point, you should have been left. And just because he proposed, that does not mean he gonna marry you.
Women.
I agree with a couple things that this the woman in the worthless shirt or whatever said. I kind of agree with stuff a few things she said, but there's some things I don't agree with. I kind of think that relationships like this always start with a conversation where everything is kind of laid out there. Everyone knows what's going to happen. Everyone knows what's going on. But as I have documented on my channel many, many times, women live in a world of delusion. They live in a world where anybody and anything can just talk them into stuff. It is just completely crazy when you see stuff like this. But yeah, this guy's not going to marry you. He's not going to ask you to marry you. So you'll never have to worry about saying no. Like, it's not going to be an issue. And he is trying to have a family with you. Why he doesn't want to marry you is probably the same reason why a lot of guys don't want to marry women. It's just a huge risk. There's really no reason for him to marry you. If you two are living together and you live in one of the common law states, you're probably already common law married, so why, like, who cares? It's already done. But she's gonna be having her, because of this video, he's putting it out there, and she is going to be on the lookout for another man, to potentially cheat with. Because a lot of women, especially women like this, they say, oh, no ring, it means I'm single. Oh, girlfriend, boyfriend, it basically just means we're single, right? I mean, we're just roommates at this point. Any sort of out that they can get, they will definitely use. And she will use this against her man 100%. This is what women do. Women use their bodies as ammunition. I've seen a lot of situations where I have friends that have kids and they are in, living with a woman. They are in a relationship with these women. And I kind of ask them, say, how's everything going over there? How's the home life treating you? And they are in complete and utter hell. They are in hell having to deal with these women, because when a woman has a kid and she's not married, then doesn't look very good for her. Of course, it is the woman's job, to make sure that she doesn't get pregnant. The women can blame the men. Oh, he should have wore this. He should have done that. He should have done this. But ultimately, it's not the man's job to control his natural instincts. Okay, that is a man's natural instinct. So I don't really see that falling on the man. Now, personally, I'm not going to sit here and say that, she should have been on birth control, or she should have done this, or she should have taken the precaution. That's really none of my business. The baby has been had. Everything has already happened. What happens now is really none of my concern. I just know that it never ends well in these types of relationships. And the one thing I do agree with that woman is, why is she still there? If she's going to say no if he ever proposes, which it's not going to happen, he's not going to propose because he probably has a brain and he's probably using it. But like I said, that's inconsequential. If they live in a state, I hope they don't live in a state where common law marriage is like a thing. But if they do, then it's going to be bad. It is going to be bad for that man, because she is going to step out because they're not married. There's no commitment. There's for women, even if there is marriage commitment, it really doesn't mean anything. I mean, if there's always the goalpost is always moved. If there's marriage, then they stepped out because the spark wasn't there, and if they're not married, then they stepped out because there's no ring, so I'm single. There's always a goal. The goalpost is always moved in these types of situations. So this relationship is not going to be going anywhere. She's going to end up either stepping out, or he's going to maybe come to his senses and kick her kick her out the house. Who knows? The only thing I know for sure, for 100%, is that I am so glad I am not in a situation like that. I would urge every man watching this video to appreciate, if you are one of these men that are kind of single, that live in the bachelor life, you're living alone, you're enjoying your free time, you're going to the gym, you're playing Madden, you're doing all these things. Enjoy that, because there are so many men out there that made the mistake of moving in the box. They moved the box into the house so they could have it whenever they wanted, and now the box is talking back. The box is denying them, and they're in their own living hell.